What's the best diet for you? What's the best diet to follow? This comes up a lot. Like, I want something that will help me lose weight, but also enjoy my lifestyle, which, by the way, have come at loggerheads at times, and we need to make sure we manage our expectations here. Because if you want to enjoy social events and eat out and all these things, but then you get annoyed if the weight ever goes up and down, maybe that's actually the problem. Because then if we get annoyed if the weight goes up and down, then we react to that. That could be the thing that's making us back to square one, where if we just carried on, could this be the difference? Now, the truth is, you're never going to know what the best diet is. You're never going to know what the best exercise is. You'll never know. Like, despite what anyone says at the moment, the research isn't there right now. Whether you test your poop, whether you test your blood sugar levels, that isn't necessarily a very good indicator, because things change so rapidly. Like, you can change your gut health in the matter of days by the sleep, by exercise, by the fiber content, all of these things. Morning, Susie. So you're never really going to know what the best thing is. However, like I said, with managing our expectations, this is such a key part of this. And actually, we waste so much time beating ourselves up. It was only the other day when a seemingly poor decision from me came back to be one of the best decisions. For example, I think it was last year, I bought a Christmas tree outfit with lights on, really quite cool actually. I didn't read the small print. The small print was someone on eBay who was selling it for £5. I should have read the small print really. They were like, I've done this, I don't need it anymore. When I read the small print, it was for my, wait for it, toddler who won the Christmas dress-up competition at their nursery. So it didn't really fit. However, it wasn't too bad. It kind of fit halfway a bit, and I put a hat on top, then I had a bit of an outfit. And I still wear it now. Wore it yesterday at our Fruci Christmas event. But my point here is now you fast forward to now, and you never know whether it's a bad decision or a good decision. Because this Christmas, one of my daughters just so happens to be a Christmas tree in the nativity. And I'm like, wow, a Christmas tree in the nativity. We just so happen to have a Christmas tree outfit that's going to fit you. And the reason I'm sharing that is because so often we're quick to say, oh, I did this was rubbish. I ate out, so this won't work because my weight went up a bit, so that didn't work. But actually, what if this was actually what we needed to understand why it works? For example, this is a great time of year to really understand what happens to your weight. And I've spoken to this many times before, but if you're trying to lose, say, £1 a week, and you go out for a meal and you overeat by 1,500 calories, which is easily doable, by the way, then essentially, instead of being in a deficit of 3,500 calories over the week, which is £1 of fat, you're about half of that. So on average now, you're going to lose £0.5 a week, providing you go back to it. However, your weight the next day after eating out, especially if you've eaten later, you have rich foods, quite salt-rich, sodium-rich foods, maybe a bit of alcohol, etc., will shoot up. Like, your average might shoot up a bit. You might go, oh, put on £3, £4, I'm back to square one. But actually, if we get back to it, that will come back down. But that's the key thing. Are we getting back to it, or are we just beating ourselves up for doing that? So you'll never know what the best diet is, what the best one is. But the key thing is that you actually just do, because you learn so much from it. The amount of times that people have said to me, I'm going to do this keto diet, low carb diet, and I'm thinking, oh yeah, in my head, I'm thinking, the way you're doing it probably won't be the best. However, who am I to say it won't be? And guess what? At the very least, you're going to be eating a lot more protein than you are right now, which is amazing. It's going to keep you full up for longer. You're going to feel more satisfied. And guess what happens? Wow, I'm more full up, I'm more satisfied. Then along comes a social event. Quite often something will come up and it's like, I feel a bit restricted now. Cool, okay, let's balance this out now. Know you're eating about this many calories on doing what you're doing. Given that, we could play around with that and go, on these days, still eat the same amount of calories or eat a bit more, but actually just lower your fat content from when you're eating more lower carb and allow yourself that carb portion in there. Could even do some benefits in terms of thyroid, etc. More on that another day, gut health. So then we've got that balance, right? It's like, okay, so now I generally can stick to a lower carb diet. And me personally, I actually eat quite a lower carb diet. I do quite a lot of fasting in the first part of the day. It just suits me better. My energy levels are better. But would I recommend this to everyone? No. Just because it works for me, it doesn't mean it's going to work for someone else. Other people, they're like, if I don't have breakfast, I'm rubbish throughout the day. I'm almost the opposite to an extent, depending on what I have. But this is why you're never going to know until you do it. And throughout all the things that I've tried over the years, it then becomes the Matt diet. Like, I do what works for me. No test is going to tell me that. No test. Because I kind of contradict what a test could possibly say to me. Like, because if it told me, I should have lower carbs or something like that, well, I'm like, well, that's not true. Because in the evening, I have more carbohydrates when I'm eating with the kids. That gets psychosocial benefits, which a test won't tell you. It's also very healthy for the kids to be eating kind of similar things and easier for my life. I don't have to cook as many different meals. Not to mention that carbohydrates might help with sleep as well. So in the evening, I'm eating my carbohydrates. Generally, that just works better for my day. Carbohydrates generally, potatoes, pasta, things like that. Lentils, beans require a bit of cooking sometimes, so it's a bit of time as well, rather than leftovers. They might have to be heated, etc. They suit my lifestyle better. Anyway, that was today's thoughts on that question, and a few discussions I've had with a few people who are starting our Kickstart in January, and they're having a few questions like, oh, what's the diet that Fruci Fit does? And I always go back to this, but Jane's video that she did, that's pinned to the top of the Facebook page, by the way, if you want to have a listen to that. She says, like, people ask her, like, what's the diet then? What's the diet? And she's always like, there's not really a diet. It's kind of fitting what works for you. And it's this hard thing to explain. But I hope I explained it just then. So I hope that helps. If you want to any more information about our Kickstart in January, do let us know. Have an awesome week. Any questions, just let me know. Feel free. I'll do a podcast on it, do a video on it, and I'll see you soon. Take care.